Somebody started a thread about a town with no obituaries. Real town, real records, just no obituaries. Ever. Replies started coming in from people who'd lived there, some named relatives. That thread is on LurmoStories. The town is still there. The records still aren't.
I collected past due trailer loans in Arkansas in 2006. I wore a short-sleeved dress shirt, drove a tan Ford Taurus with bad AC, and knocked on doors where nobody wanted to see me. Riverland Consumer Finance was in Little Rock, between a payday lender and a Chinese buffet. On Monday, June 12th, Dale handed me a folder. "Caleb, try him in person." The account was for a 1997 Clayton single-wide and a used Whirlpool washer. Balance, $4,386.52. 91 days late. Address, Lot 18, Cypress Bend Estates, outside Pine Bluff, off Highway 65. I had left a yellow door hanger there in May. No answer. The drive was ugly hot before noon. My MapQuest directions curled on the passenger seat. The Taurus smelled like vinyl, stale coffee, and a pine tree air freshener Emily picked at AutoZone. I passed a closed catfish place and found the Cypress Bend Estates sign. There were no estates, just 30 or so trailers on a loop road, weeds around the skirting, dogs tied to cinder blocks. A window unit rattled. The air smelled like grass, propane, and the dumpster by the mailboxes. A man in a Razorbacks cap watched me and didn't wave. Lot 18 sat at the back near a drainage ditch. Beige trailer, green trim, 2 porch steps, dead bug zapper by the door. The gray Dodge Ram from May was gone. I parked facing out because angry customers sometimes blocked you in. I wrote 11:42 a.m. on my clipboard and knocked. Nothing. "Mr. Rusk? Mark, Riverland Consumer Finance." A dog barked behind me. A fly landed on my wrist. I knocked again and noticed the first odd thing. The door wasn't latched, not open, just resting against the frame. I told myself humidity had swollen it. Cheap trailer doors did that. I told myself he had skipped and I only needed to verify the washer. That was my rational explanation, and it was enough to make me do something dumb. I pushed the door with 2 fingers. "Mr. Rusk? Anybody home?" The smell came out first. Cigarettes, old grease, damp carpet, and pine sol. The living room had brown carpet, wood paneling, a Magnavox TV on a milk crate, and an ashtray with 3 Marlboro Reds in it. On the coffee table was a Walmart receipt from June 6th. Duct tape, rope, Kodak film. I stared at rope for a second, then felt stupid. People bought rope. People tied down tarps. I had bungee cords in my trunk. I stepped in and said, louder, "I'm leaving my card on the counter." That was my excuse. Leave the card, see the washer, leave. The kitchen was to the left. Dishes in the sink. 2 roaches on the counter. Cornflakes on the fridge. The linoleum stuck to my shoe. Down the hall, I could see the Whirlpool washer. That should have been enough. Then I saw the keys. They were on the kitchen table beside a folded Arkansas Democrat Gazette. Plain ring, 3 keys, black Ford head, blue Kroger Plus tag. They looked like mine. I checked my pocket. My keys were there. I actually smiled because I felt silly. Half of Arkansas had Ford keys and Kroger tags. Then I picked the table keys up. The Ford key had a crack in the plastic. Mine had the same crack from our garage floor in March. I set the keys down carefully. For maybe 10 seconds, I didn't move. The refrigerator hummed. A fly hit a window. My mouth tasted metallic. The front door was still open. I should have walked straight out. A small click came from the hallway, probably the air conditioner. That's what I told myself. "Hello?" I said. No answer. At the end of the hall was a closed door with yellow light under it. Bedroom, I thought. Maybe someone passed out. I still had the clipboard under my arm. I walked toward the light because I wanted the keys to make sense. The hallway smelled colder, like wet carpet under window unit air. A bathroom mirror was cracked. A camo jacket hung from a nail. I touched the knob. It turned. It wasn't a bedroom anymore. The bed was gone. The room had a card table, a metal folding chair, and a cheap floor lamp with no shade. Black trash bags covered the windows. The lamp made everything flat and yellow. The walls were covered with photographs. At first, my mind tried to make them strangers. A woman loading groceries. A girl on a swing. A boy in a red t-ball shirt. A man mowing a lawn. Then I knew them. The woman was my wife, Karen. The girl was Emily, 6 years old. The boy was our son, Josh, 4. The man with the mower was me.
There were at least 70 pictures, some 4x6 prints from a 1-hour photo place. Some larger, grainy, taken from far away. Our house in Bryant, Karen outside Kroger, Emily at Mills Park, Josh asleep in our Honda Odyssey, me taking trash cans to the curb. Most had dates in black Sharpie: June 5th, June 6th, June 7th, June 8th, June 9th. The newest was from Sunday, June 11th, our kitchen window at night. Karen stood at the sink with a blue towel over her shoulder. Emily sat behind her, coloring. On the card table were another set of my car keys. Beside them were Emily's pink beret, a First Baptist Bryant bulletin dated June 4th, and one of my business cards with the corner chewed. There was a notebook too. I did not open it. The top page was enough. Mark leaves 7:18. Karen leaves 8:03. Bus 3:21. Lights out 10:44. Under that, in smaller block letters, collector comes alone. That was when the front door moved. Not slammed, not closed, moved. I heard the rubber strip touch the frame. Someone was in the trailer. A man's voice called from the living room. "Mark?" It was calm, like he was calling from another room in my own house. I didn't answer. "Mark," he said, "you drove fast." The room had no exit except the hall. I grabbed the floor lamp, then realized it was useless. The cord pulled from the wall. I took the keys from the table. My fingers slipped once. The voice said, "I wanted to talk normal." I ran. I hit the door frame with my shoulder, bounced off the bathroom wall, and came into the living room sideways. He was standing near the TV. I had seen Caleb's driver's license photo. Skinny white man, 38, sandy hair, bad beard. This man was cleaner. Shaved, hair cut short, gray t-shirt, jeans, white New Balance sneakers. Empty hands. He smiled like we knew each other from church. "Your boy likes that red shirt," he said. I swung the clipboard at his face. It caught him across the cheek. Paper went everywhere. I shoved past him. He grabbed my shirt for half a second. The fabric tore. Then I was outside, missing the first step and burning my palm on the hot metal siding. My Taurus was unlocked. I always locked it. For 1 second I froze. Then, the screen door slapped behind me and I got in. The engine caught on the second try. I threw it into reverse, crushed a trash can, and backed into the road. Caleb stood on the porch. He did not chase me. He touched his cheek where I had hit him and looked at his fingers. Then, he gave me a small 2-finger wave. I drove out too fast. Gravel hit the underside of the car. The man in the Razorback's cap shouted, but I didn't stop. My Nokia had 1 bar. I called Karen. Voicemail. I called the house. No answer. I called Karen again. Voicemail. Then I called 911. I kept saying the same things. Highway 65 North, Cypress Bend Estates, Lot 18, pictures of my family, my wife and kids in Bryant. Please send someone. Karen finally answered when I was near Benton. She sounded annoyed. Regular annoyed. "Mark, what? I'm doing laundry." I said, "Get the kids and leave the house right now." "What happened?" "Do it now. Shoes, keys, purse. Go to Pam's. Don't open the door for anybody." She started to ask again, then stopped. Karen knew my voice. I heard SpongeBob in the background and Josh complaining that he didn't want shoes. Emily asked if they were going to Sonic. I said, "Karen, move." "I'm moving." I stayed on the line while she got them out. I heard the garage door opener. That little motor sound still bothers me. Then she said, "There's a white car across the street." I almost left the lane. "What kind?" "I don't know. Old. Maybe a Buick. It's been there before, I think." "Don't look at it. Drive." The line crackled. Then she came back and said she was out of the subdivision. I met them at her sister Pam's house off Spring Hill Road. Karen pulled in first in the Honda Odyssey. Josh had no socks. Emily was crying. I hugged them too hard. Karen saw my torn shirt and burned palm. "Who is he?" she asked. I said, "A debtor." It sounded ridiculous. Bryant police came first, then Saline County. Later, Jefferson County deputies took my statement because the trailer park was theirs. We sat at Pam's kitchen table while the kids ate Pop-Tarts. A deputy named Morales wrote everything down and asked me twice to slow down. Another one asked if I had threatened Caleb. I said I had left 1 door hanger in May. He asked if I entered the trailer. I said yes. He looked over his glasses at me. I said, "I know."
They checked our house before letting us go back for clothes. The white car was gone. Our neighbor, Mrs. Larkin, said it had sat across the street 3 or 4 times that week. She thought it was a lawn service because the driver wore a ball cap and kept low in the seat. Nothing obvious was missing from our house. That was worse. The back door lock had fresh scratches. The little bathroom window over the tub was unlatched. Emily's pink beret was gone. The church bulletin could have come from our trash. My business card could have come from anywhere. That evening, police raided Lot 18. Dale called me at 9:17 p.m. from a Dollar General parking lot. "He's gone," he said. "They found the room. Pictures, camera cases, a map of your neighborhood, some notebooks." Did they get him? No. Police found a coffee can full of keys in the kitchen drawer. House keys, car keys, padlock keys.
They found undeveloped Kodak film, Walmart receipts, and a Yahoo Maps printout of our street. The gray Dodge had plates stolen from a church van in Sheridan. Caleb's references were fake. After that, the name stopped meaning much. 2 days later, Deputy Morales told me the notebooks had our routines for at least 8 days. When I left for work, when Karen took the kids to vacation Bible school, when our lights went out, when I stopped for gas. He didn't mean to tell me that much. Caleb did not show up at a hospital. The Dodge was found 2 weeks later behind a closed boat repair shop near Stuttgart, wiped clean, no plates. After a month, the calls slowed. Cases do that when there's no easy ending. We stayed with Pam for 9 nights, then at a Residence Inn in West Little Rock for 6 more. Karen would not sleep near a window. I put a chair under the hotel door handle. The kids thought the hotel was fun for one day, then wanted their beds. I quit Riverland before July. Dale offered me phone work, but I couldn't look at account sheets anymore. Every name looked like it might know where I lived. By September, we were in Oklahoma City, near Karen's father, handling appliance warranty claims. Nobody had a room full of my family. We sold the Bryant house at a loss. The buyer asked why the bathroom window had a new lock, and why the back door frame looked patched. I said we had a break-in. True enough. For years, I checked parking lots for white Buicks and gray pickups. Karen closed blinds before sunset. Emily and Josh forgot faster than we did. They know a short version now. They do not know about the photo through the kitchen window. They do not need that. I kept 1 copy of the police report in a file box. Offense date, June 12, 2006. Location, Cypress Bend Estates, Lot 18. Suspect, Caleb, alias unknown. Status, inactive. Inactive is a clean word. It does not mean over. We moved anyway. I took the appliance warranty job in Oklahoma City and never collected another debt. Karen changed our phone numbers twice. I sold the Taurus to a college kid for $1,100. Caleb was never found. People think the hard part of underground electrical work is the dark. It is not. The dark is honest. The hard part is trusting old maps drawn by men who are retired or lying to save money. In April 2008, I was 34, working for Appalachian Field Services out of Beckley, West Virginia. I was a journeyman electrician, not a miner. This job was an abandoned Barton River mining drift outside Glen Daniel off Route 3. My partner was Cody, 29, good electrician, bad driver, chewing Big Red. He kept a Motorola Razr on his belt, even where there was no signal. We had to run a temporary 480-volt feed and data cable for 3 geologists from Charleston out to Station C, 2,600 feet in. The work order looked normal. Yellow carbon copy, my signature, Cody's, and a coffee ring from dispatch. We brought MSA helmets, cap lamps, a fluke meter, Pelican lights, Klein tools, 2 Zero armored cable, and 1 orange Kenwood radio. Rain tapped our jackets. The portal breathed cold air and smelled like wet pennies, diesel soot, timber, and sour bat mess. The geologists were supposed to meet us. Their white Chevy Tahoe was by the gate, but they were gone. A note under the wiper said, Aaron/Cody, run line to Station C. Keep left past old pump room. Call Mark on radio. Cody read it and said, I love when the smart people leave a treasure map. I laughed. That bothers me now. The first 1,000 feet were ordinary. Rails half buried in black mud. Roof bolts crusted orange. Water ticked from the top. Our boots made a flat sucking noise in the muck. Station A was fresh pink paint on plywood. Station B was near an old lunch cut.
Right after station B, my cap lamp clicked off and on 3 times. Cody stopped. Battery? Contacts, I said. That was reasonable. Lamps get knocked around. The mine was wet. I slapped the housing and kept walking, though my mouth tasted like a penny. We found the old pump room, a concrete block box in the rib, door missing, one wall stained orange from acid water. While Cody fought the cable reel, the radio popped. Field crew, this is Mark. You copy? This is Aaron. We're past the pump room. Static. Then a man said, don't use the old boxes. Keep left. If you see a transformer, don't touch it. We're not tying into old gear, I said. There was breathing in the static, close to the mic. Then maybe a word. It sounded like warm. Could have been warned. Underground radios turn English into soup. Cody said, good safety tip. Don't lick the mystery transformer. We found it 7 minutes later. It sat in a right-hand crosscut. We noticed only because our cable snagged under a broken timber. My lamp caught a gray, square D cabinet on 2 concrete blocks, waist high, with rusted conduit dropping into the top. It was too intact. Old boxes in abandoned mines usually get stripped. This one had both latches shut. Cody said, Aaron, I'm only looking. You're doing the voice where you already decided. He was right. I walked into the crosscut anyway. The air was warmer, almost body warm, with a sour smell like potatoes forgotten under a sink. My lamp flickered once. Cody's Pelican flickered at the same time. The cabinet vibrated under my glove, faint as a refrigerator compressor through a kitchen floor. I opened the latch. Inside should have been copper windings and laminated steel. Instead, there was a dense net of blackened veins packed from side to side, some thick as extension cords, some thin as phone wire. They wrapped through the old coil frame and around ceramic standoffs. They were not roots. No dirt, no hairs, no direction. They looked dry and slick, with a tar shine. Every few seconds, they pulsed in time with our flickering lamps. Cody came up beside me and stopped chewing. What the hell is that? He said. I don't know. The veins clicked softly, not like an animal, like a wet relay inside a wall. Tick, pause. Tick, tick. Each click took a little brightness out of the lamps. Close it, Cody said. I closed it. My fingers felt numb through the glove, cold like I had touched dry ice. We left the crosscut and pulled the cable another 50 feet before the radio came on by itself. No beep, no squelch, just a calm man's voice. Station C is ahead. My thumb was nowhere near the button. Cody said, Mark? Keep going, the voice said. I keyed the mic. Mark, identify yourself. Static. Then, from somewhere deeper in the entry, somebody laughed once. A normal, tired laugh. A guy laughing at a bad joke. Cody whispered, There's nobody ahead of us. I wanted to say the geologists were ahead. Voices carry strangely in crosscuts. I said that, and Cody nodded because we both needed it. We reached Station C at 10:42 a.m. Cody wrote the time on the plywood board with a Sharpie. The drill rig was set up, but silent. A Garmin handheld lay screened down in the mud. 3 hard hats sat in a neat row, 1 white, 2 blue. No people. I called on the radio. Survey crew, this is Aaron at Station C. Where are you? Nothing. Past Station C, fresh boot prints went farther in, 4 sets. Over them were lines in the mud, close together, like someone had dragged a bundle of wet cords across the floor. Cody touched one with a gloved finger. It left black grease on the leather. He said, Nope. We should have turned around right then. We did, kind of. We turned back to the board and finished mounting the disconnect, because fear at work often looks like not wanting to seem dramatic. I stripped the cable, fitted the lugs, checked ground with the fluke. Everything tested normal. No power on the new run. While I worked, the lamps kept flickering. Every 13 seconds. Then, every 8. Cody counted under his breath. At one point, he said, Listen, the thump I had thought was a pump was under us, under the floor. It had a double beat. Thump, thump. Pause. Thump, thump. The mud vibrated enough to rattle loose washers in my pouch. Then the cable twitched. It was heavy 2-0 armored cable, coiled by Cody's boot. It moved half an inch, like something beneath it had bumped it from below. Cody stepped back. Tell me you saw that. I saw it. The radio clicked. A woman's voice said, Aaron, we need light down here. I knew that voice. Dr. Lisa, one of the geologists. I'd met her on another job in March. New Orleans accent, LSU sticker on her hard hat. Hearing her made the stupid, useful part of me wake up. I grabbed the radio. Lisa, where are you? Below, she said. Cody shook his head. No below. There was below. Old slopes, manways, drainage tunnels nobody puts on the map unless they have to. The voice said, cable first, then come down. That was wrong. Not help us. Cable first. I said, Lisa, who is with you? A pause. It's easier with power, she said. Cody took the radio from my hand and turned it off. The speaker hissed after the knob clicked. We're leaving, he said. I did not argue. We followed our own cable out. We made it maybe 200 feet before it pulled tight behind us. Not snagged, pulled. It stretched straight through the mud and hummed under my boot. Cody looked at me. Cut it? It's not energized. I know. Neither of us cut it. Training is hard to shake, even when it is stupid. From the crosscut behind us came a clank, the cabinet opening. Cody said, very quietly, go. You do not really run in a low mine. You hurry badly. You slip. You hit your shoulder on ribs and duck too late under roof straps. My lamp went dim bright, like breathing. Cody's did the same. Behind us, something dragged along the floor. Slow, heavy, patient. Slide. Wet slap. Slide. At the pump room, the cable jerked hard enough to whip sideways. Cody fell against the block wall and dropped his Pelican. It landed lens down in orange water and kept shining. He reached for it. I grabbed his harness. Leave it. My light. Leave it. The pump room was warmer now. The sour potato smell was thick enough to taste. A crack had opened near the floor. 3 black veins, thin as lamp cord, came through and felt along the wet block. They were not thrashing. They were testing. One touched Cody's Pelican. The beam flickered. The vein tightened around the handle. The radio on my belt clicked on again. Mark's voice said, Field crew, hold position. You're walking into bad roof. I stopped. Bad roof is not spooky. Bad roof is how people die underground. Ahead, a fresh slab lay across the track, gray dust still floating. Roof bolts bent at odd angles. The mine and the radio were telling us the same thing. I keyed the mic. Mark, what color is your truck? A pause. Too long. White, the voice said. Every truck at the gate was white. Cody said, move. We climbed over the fall. A rock shifted and I went down on one knee, driving coal grit through my pants. Cody hauled me up by my belt. Behind us, the dragging got faster. About 800 feet from the portal, we saw steady lights. Mark, the foreman, was coming in with a miner named Russell and a Stokes basket between them. Mark was mad until he saw our faces. Where are the geologists? He said. Cody pointed behind us. Don't. Mark looked over our shoulders. His face emptied. In the dark behind us, our new cable slid around the bend by itself, slow and smooth, like it was being reeled in from Station C. Mark said, cut power. I said, the new line isn't tied in. Upper level, he said. Now. Near the portal, 2 Barton River electricians, Perry and Al, had the temporary feed opened and tagged. Mark told them to kill the whole upper level. Perry mentioned the fan and methane monitors. Mark said, kill it. Perry pulled the main. The work lights died. The fan wound down. For half a second, the mine was so quiet, I heard rain ticking outside the portal. Then a long vibration came from deeper under the mountain, like a huge transformer shutting down wrong. Every battery lamp blinked twice and went black, even the cordless Milwaukee work light outside. We stood in gray daylight from the portal, close enough to see each other, but not enough to feel safe. Something slapped the mud about 50 feet inside. The lights came back after maybe 10 seconds. My radio was hot against my hip. I unclipped it and dropped it in the mud. The speaker crackled. Dr. Mercier's voice said, you forgot the cable. Cody stepped on the radio until the casing broke. After that, everything became procedure. Mark ordered everyone past the gate. Perry and Al locked out the generator and refused to go back in. Russell took names. Cody sat on the tailgate of my Ford Ranger and did not chew. I kept smelling that sour warmth even outside in the rain. By 2:30 p.m., there were company trucks, a county deputy, and 2 men in clean jackets who never gave names. One had a BlackBerry and kept walking uphill for signal. They asked if we entered unmarked old works. No, except the transformer crosscut.
Did we energize the new line? No. Did I open the cabinet? Yes. The man wrote that down carefully. The incident summary called it unidentified organic obstruction in old electrical housing. It did not mention voices or the cable moving. It said the survey team was unaccounted for beyond Station C. At 5:10 p.m., Perry and Al were told to restore limited power for a rescue assessment. Both refused to descend.
Perry said, "I'll work hot in a bathtub before I feed that thing." Nobody laughed. A state mine safety inspector arrived after dark and did not force them. He listened to Mark, looked at the broken Kenwood in a Ziploc bag, and said the fan could stay off until the company wrote a plan. No plan was written that night. Barton River Mining sealed the number 7 drift before the end of April 2008. Concrete block bulkhead, steel door, new warning signs. The public reason was bad roof, poor ventilation, and unstable old works. All true. Not all of it. I worked box office at the Century 12 in Northridge Fashion Center in April 2005. I was 23, living with my aunt in Reseda, taking classes at Pierce when I could afford it. The theater was on the second level near the food court escalators. From the Macy's side, you passed a GameStop with a Halo 2 poster, a singular kiosk, and an orange Julius that smelled like sugar and hot blender motors. Our lobby smelled like fake butter, Windex, cucumber melon from Bath & Body Works, and warm parking garage air. My name tag said Mike. That night was Thursday, April 14th. Sin City was still selling well. The Amityville Horror remake had a midnight opening, and we had a Revenge of the Sith standee every guy in a Volcom shirt wanted to touch. My shift was 4:30 p.m. to 12:15 a.m. In the booth were Rosa, Kevin, and me. Rosa had worked there forever. Kevin was 19 and played Snake on a cracked Nokia during breaks. The first few hours were normal. People argued about R-rated IDs. A man in a Best Buy polo tried to pay with a Blockbuster gift card by mistake. The registers clicked. The ticket printer coughed out warm little rectangles. The green anti-glare glass made faces stretch if you looked through it sideways. Around 8:10, a man in a Dodgers cap bought one ticket for Fever Pitch. When I looked up to hand him the receipt, his face seemed late. His shoulders were already turning away, but his expression stayed still for half a second, like a scratched DVD holding one frame while the movie kept going. Then it caught up. I blinked and it was gone. I told myself I was tired. I had eaten half an Auntie Anne's pretzel and washed it down with Mountain Dew Code Red. I had been staring through smudged glass for almost 4 hours. Mall lights were bad anyway. Fluorescent tubes, arcade machines, neon signs, old security monitors. You could get a headache just standing there. Rosa saw me rubbing my left eye. "You okay, Mike?" "Screen burn," I said. "You don't have a screen." "I have customers, same thing." She laughed. Kevin kept counting fives. At 8:43, a woman in an Old Navy hoodie came up for 2 tickets to Guess Who. When I looked at her, the right side of her face was fine. The left side broke into little squares. Not a blur, more like cheap digital cable during rain. Her cheek, eye, and mouth were still there, but made of blocky pieces that changed color when she moved. Peach, gray, lobby yellow, a quick blue flash from the arcade. She said, "Is something wrong?" I must have stared for 1 second. "No, sorry, long day." She gave me a damp 20. I handed her 2 quarters and the tickets. By the time she passed the Star Wars standee, her face looked normal from the side. That should have been when I asked for a break. Instead, I decided the glass was dirty. That is regular stupid, not movie stupid. The kind where you do not want to be the guy who says, "Hey, I think customers are turning into bad video files." I sprayed Windex on both sides of my window and wiped it with brown paper towels until Rosa told me I was just smearing it. "Now it smells like pennies," she said through the talk hole. She was right. Windex and the coin tray made my throat taste metallic. By 9:15, the mall was closing. Security rolled metal gates over the smaller stores, and the sound rattled along the tile. Only the theater, the arcade, and the pretzel stand still had life in them. Inside our booth, Kevin's little fan clicked left, clicked right. Above the door, the black and white security monitor rolled every few minutes because the cameras were cheap and nobody cared. At 10:30, Rosa went to clean Auditorium 4 after the interpreter let out. Before she left, she leaned close and said, "You really do look bad." I told her it was a migraine. I had seen silver dots during finals once, so I took that explanation because it was right there. Migraine aura, eye strain, flickery mall lights. Pick one. The next hour was slow. A guy with spiked hair tried to use an expired student ID from 2002. Two women asked if Starbucks was allowed in the auditorium and then carried it in anyway. I got good at not looking. If I watched hands, shirts, or hairlines, everything stayed normal. If I looked straight at a face, it started to break. Small blocks first, green in a cheek, purple over an eyebrow. A mouth sliding half an inch and snapping back. Nobody reacted. Nobody touched their face or asked what was happening. They just wanted tickets. That made it worse. At 11:12, a man in a Quicksilver shirt came up with a woman for 2 Amityville tickets. His face broke for half a second, then cleared. Hers did not. Hers was a full, moving smear of squares, like video trying to decide where her eyes belonged. She laughed at something he said, and the laugh was completely normal. I looked down, printed the tickets, and told myself again, migraine. The brain fills in gaps. Mine was filling them wrong. At 11:25, Dennis told me I could close the second drawer. Keep one register open until the midnight crowd is in. Then count out and go home if you're dying. I might be, I said. Don't do it on property. I closed Rose's drawer and wrote the total twice because my numbers looked crooked. $1,487.25. Dennis took the drop bag and left. That was when the mall outside got too quiet. The theater behind me still had noise. Popcorn machine, lobby music, someone laughing by the soda fountain. But beyond the box office glass, the mall side was dark gates and empty tile. The arcade down the corridor flashed blue on the carpet. Near the directory stood a man in a gray windbreaker. He was maybe 30 feet away, facing me. Medium height, dark hair, jeans, white New Balance shoes, one lace loose, one hand in his pocket, the other held something small, maybe a folded receipt. I looked away to count quarters. When I looked back, he was closer, maybe 20 feet now. I had not heard him walk. The mall tiles usually squeaked under sneakers because the cleaning crew polished them too much. His did not. He stepped into the empty line ropes and followed them correctly, left, right, left. Like the ropes mattered with no line. That almost calmed me down. It was such a normal, polite thing to do. He stopped at my window. From the neck down, he was ordinary. Gray windbreaker with a black zipper, plain white t-shirt, faded jeans, loose shoelace. Through the talk hole came a faint smell of cigarette smoke and cold outside air. He held a $20 bill folded into a square. I kept my eyes on the register. "How's it going?" He did not answer. His head tilted toward the Showtime board above me. "What can I get for you?" "1 ticket," he said. "For which movie?" "The one that starts at midnight." "Amityville?" "If that's the one." I pressed 1 adult. Total was $9.75. He slid the folded 20 under the glass. His hand looked normal. Clean nails. Small scab on the knuckle of his thumb. I unfolded the bill and checked the watermark because Dennis was strict about 20s after 9. It was real. The printer made its little grinding sound. I tore the ticket and looked up to hand it over. His face was made of pixels. I do not mean blurry. I do not mean spots in my vision. The face itself was a shifting grid of colored blocks, as if a streaming video had been compressed too hard and wrapped around a head. The blocks slid over each other and kept trying to become features without settling. Where his left eye should have been, black and tan squares opened sideways. His nose appeared as a beige stripe, then broke into red and green flecks. His mouth was in 3 places at once, each one almost matching words he was not saying. The colors were dull, like bad motel cable. Flesh, gray, brown, mall yellow, sudden arcade blue. Collar, zipper, shoulders, the fogged oval of breath on the glass. All of that was sharp. Only the face refused to be one thing. I held the ticket halfway through the slot. He did not take it. For maybe 2 seconds, neither of us moved. The fan clicked behind me. The ticket paper warmed between my fingers. My left eye throbbed hard once. Then he said, "You can see it." Not a question. I looked down so fast my neck hurt. The register screen showed cash due, $10.25 in blocky green letters. My hand already had a 10, 2 quarters, a dime, and a nickel. My body had counted the change while my head was failing. I said, "Here's your ticket and your change." My voice sounded bored. I am still weirdly proud of that. He did not move. I stared at scratches in the beige counter and an old sticker mark shaped like a rectangle. His hand waited under the glass. Normal hand, normal scab, normal palm crease. "Most people don't," he said. I said nothing. Behind me, someone yelled, "We need more lids!" Another employee answered. The real world kept going, which made the booth feel smaller. He tapped one fingernail on the metal tray. Once. A tiny click. I pushed the ticket and change forward until they touched his fingers. He took them. For a second, I thought that was it. Transaction over. Then, he stayed there. I felt him looking at the top of my head. I kept my eyes on a speck of black dirt in the coin tray seam. Then he said, "You're early." That was all. The ticket crinkled as he folded it. His shoes shifted. The loose lace dragged on the tile with a dry little sound. Then, he walked away. I waited until his shoes left my view. I waited longer. When I finally looked toward the mall, I watched only his shoulder and the back of his jacket. He passed the Star Wars standee, passed the closed Mrs. Fields gate, and went toward the dark escalators instead of the auditorium entrance. I did not call after him. I sat on the low stool under the counter and put my forehead against the register. It was cool from the vent. I was not screaming or running. People expect that part. I just sat there like an idiot with a headache. A minute later, Dennis opened the booth door and asked if I can make it 15 more. I said yes because I did not want to explain. For the next 15 minutes, I sold tickets without looking at faces. I looked at collars, hands, hats, credit cards, USC sweatshirt, Von Dutch cap, pink Motorola Razr, Visa card with a worn corner. When people spoke, I answered the register, not them. Rosa came back at 11:53 carrying a trash bag. "Mike, seriously, go home. I have a migraine." "You're not looking at people." "Because I have a migraine." She lowered her voice. "Did somebody say something to you?" "No." That was true enough. At 12:04, the gray windbreaker man had still not entered the auditorium. I know because I watched shoes at the usher podium. No white New Balance. No loose lace. At 12:10, Dennis let me close out. I counted the drawer 3 times and got 3 different answers. In the parking garage, the air smelled like oil, concrete, and a Jack-in-the-Box bag. My car was on level 3 by pillar C5. My Nokia had 2 missed calls from my aunt and 1 text from Kevin that said, "You alive?" I did not answer. I went back 2 days later. Kevin called me migraine boy and threw a junior mint at me. For about a week, I avoided faces. Then, nothing happened, and I started to believe the whole thing had been a migraine with stress on top. I looked up visual aura on Ask Jeeves and found zigzags and blind spots. Nothing about faces turning into broken video. Close enough, I told myself. And that night, back at the Century 12, the ending was nothing big. No alarms, no chase. No one believed anything had happened, because nothing had happened that anyone could prove. I lowered my eyes, handed the man his ticket and his change. He left. For the rest of my shift, I complained about a migraine and did not look people in the face again. In February 2020, I was walking dogs because my freelance editing work had dried up, and Rover paid faster than podcasters. I lived in Van Nuys and drove a 2011 Subaru Outback with leashes, green bags, and a cracked iPhone 8 on the seat. Claire and Martin lived in Arroyo Vista Estates, a gated community above Calabasas, close enough to Hidden Hills that the guards wore ties, and every other driveway had a Tesla. Live Oak Court was white stucco, clipped hedges, ring cameras, and dry eucalyptus after rain. Cooper was their golden retriever, 6 years old, about 70 pounds, pale fur and soft, dumb eyes. Claire showed me the alarm code, the Nest thermostat, Cooper's food, and the back door. They were going to Aspen for 9 days, 2 visits a day. Easy. The only thing she repeated was, "Don't let him bother Graham next door. He's particular." Graham lived at number 20. I saw him on the second afternoon, standing by his side gate in a gray UCLA sweatshirt with no reason to be there. Cooper froze in the driveway and gave one low bark. Graham smiled and said, "Dog walker?" I said yes. He said, "Keep him off my ice plant." Cooper was nowhere near it. I said, "Of course, because arguing with neighbors gets walkers fired." That was the first thing I explained away. HOA guy. Too much money. Too much time. 2 mornings later, I noticed a bleach smell in the Wells' backyard, near the back corner where the lawn sloped toward oleanders and a low wall between their yard and Graham's. The Wells had a pool, And people in LA were already wiping down Amazon boxes, so chlorine did not seem strange. Cooper disagreed. Every time I unclipped him, he went straight to a damp pile of leaves under a Japanese maple. The rest of the yard looked magazine clean. That pile looked wrong. Cooper sniffed it like there was meat under it. I told him to leave it. He listened, but he kept looking back. On Friday at 4:30, Graham waited on the sidewalk between the houses. Black Arc'teryx jacket, hands in pockets, Mercedes G-Class idling in his driveway with nobody inside. The neighborhood was quiet except for sprinklers. Cooper's tail stopped. Graham nodded at him and said, "Golden's dig. People forget that." I fake laughed. "I'll keep an eye on him." He looked at my phone. "Rover tracks you, right? GPS?" "Yeah." "So they know when you're here?" Not where I was, when I was there. I said yes, and he nodded like I had answered something useful. Inside, Cooper would not eat and stood by the sliding doors whining. I texted Claire. "Cooper seems anxious today, but all good." She replied from Aspen with a snowboard emoji and, "He hates wind, LOL. Thanks, Jason." Saturday afternoon, the leaf pile was bigger. It had spread over the grass. The leaves were wet, though it had not rained, and they stuck to Cooper's paws. The bleach smell was sharper, a sting behind my eyes. Cooper shoved his muzzle into the pile and dug with both front paws, not playful. Fast and hard. "Cooper, leave it." He did not. I grabbed his collar. He planted himself, suddenly all muscle. Mud flicked onto his chest, and then the leaves opened. Under them was a metal ventilation grill set into a concrete lip. Not a drain, a vent. Maybe 18 inches by 14, painted dark green like someone wanted it hidden. The bars were thick and close together. Warm air breathed out in little waves. The chlorine smell came up stronger, with something stale under it. Cooper barked once, short and sharp. I crouched because I still did not understand. I did not run. I tried to make it normal. Then I saw the tape. Small pieces of gray duct tape were stuck to the inside of the bars, folded and torn, gummy at the edges. One piece had hair caught in the adhesive. Another had a dry, dark reddish smear. The pieces moved a little when the air pushed through. From the other side of the wall, Graham said, "Jason." I stood so fast my knee popped. The wall was only 5 feet high there. Graham was close enough that I could see shaving bumps on his scalp. He wore blue nitrile gloves. In one hand, he held pruning shears. In the other, a white contractor bag. He looked at the uncovered vent, then at Cooper, then at me. "That dog needs better supervision." I said the first stupid thing available. "Sorry, he was digging." "I can see that." "I'll cover it." "No, don't touch it." Cooper made a low sound, more like a motor failing than a growl. Graham set the bag down. "Claire know you let him dig up utility access?" I'll text her. "Don't bother her on vacation." That was when I noticed the Ring camera on the Wells patio had been turned toward the pool. On Monday, Claire had pointed it at the lawn. Now, its black eye stared at empty lounge chairs. Graham followed my look and smiled. I had my phone, Cooper, and a neighbor with shears who knew my name. Standing there, it felt like math. "I'm taking him inside," I said. "Sure." I pulled Cooper away. His paws skidded in mud. At the patio, Graham called, "Jason, you do many houses up here?" "A few." "People trust you," he said. "Trust is rare." Inside, I locked the sliding door and stood in Claire's kitchen, listening to Cooper pant. I did not call the police from there. I know how that sounds. I took 3 bad photos through the glass with my iPhone, then texted Claire. Cooper dug up some kind of vent in the back corner. Neighbor seemed annoyed. "Want me to avoid yard time?" She wrote, "What vent?" Then, "Can you send pic?" I almost did. Then I pictured Claire calling Graham to ask what I had found. I typed, "Hard to see." I covered it. All good. That was a lie. I put Cooper's harness on and left through the front. We did a 12-minute walk, and I marked it as 45 on Rover. That night, I told myself to mind my business because rent was due and rich people had strange houses. Fear is not clean. It has bills attached. Sunday morning, Claire texted, "Morning." Cooper Cam is offline for some reason. Can you check the router when you go? Thank you. I sat there with one shoe on. Cooper Cam. Offline. For some reason. I drove anyway. Miguel, the older guard, looked past me into the empty back seat and said, Dog inside today? Picking him up. He nodded. Be careful with number 20. Graham? His face closed. He complains. Do your job and go. Graham's house was quiet when I parked. Blinds closed. No G-Class. My Subaru ticked as it cooled, and my mouth tasted like old coffee. Cooper was not at the door. Usually his tail hit the glass before I finished the code. That morning, nothing. I opened the door and called him. The house answered with fridge hum and a faint electronic chirp. Cooper? A thump came from upstairs. I found him in the master bedroom, shut in the walk-in closet. Not locked, just closed in. He pushed past my legs and shook like he was wet. Fresh, pale scratches marked the inside of the closet door. I called Claire. No answer.
Martin went straight to voicemail. Then, the alarm panel by the garage chirped. The screen lit up and said, "Side door open." The side door led to the narrow path between the Wells house and Graham's wall. Cooper began to bark. I did not check the side door. I grabbed the leash, clipped fur in the clasp, and went out the front. As I pulled the door shut, I heard something inside, more like a cabinet closing than footsteps. I left.
Graham's G-Class rolled into the cul-de-sac and stopped behind my Subaru, blocking it in. Graham got out in jeans and a navy Lululemon zip-up. No gloves, looking ready for brunch. "Morning," he said. "Claire asked me to check the router. Camera's down." I said, "She didn't mention that." He smiled. "She wouldn't need to." He walked toward the Wells door. Cooper barked once, loud enough to bounce off the stucco. Graham stopped. "Get him under control. He's nervous. Dogs reflect handlers." I tried to step around him. He shifted just enough to stay in the way. Not touching me, just enough. "You see that utility vent again?" he asked. "No." "Good. Old irrigation. Nothing to bother people about." For 3 seconds, nobody moved. Sprinklers clicked on across the street with a hard hiss. Cooper's leash creaked in my hand. Then my phone rang. It was Claire. I answered on speaker. "Jason," she said, "is Cooper okay?" "He's with me." "Why did the closet camera send motion alerts?" I looked at Graham. His face did not change. "I found him in your closet," I said. "What?" "Master closet. Door was closed." "That's impossible. We don't close that door. It sticks." Graham said loudly, "Claire, it's Graham. Your router's been dropping. I came over to help." There was a pause. Claire said, "Graham, why are you at my house?" He smiled at me while she said it. That was the peak. No yelling, no sprinting, just a simple question and a man in front of me not answering it. I said, "I'm bringing Cooper to the gate." Graham's eyes moved from my face to the dog. "Jason." I walked. Maybe he did not stop me because Claire was on speaker. I walked down the middle of Live Oak Court, with Cooper pulling so hard his nails scraped pavement. Claire kept saying my name. I told her, "Meet me at the gate or call Miguel, now." Behind me, the G-Class door shut. I did not look back until the bend by the pond. Graham stood beside the Mercedes, one hand on the roof, watching. When he saw me look, he gave a small wave. Miguel had the pedestrian gate open. Cooper shoved through first. Claire and Martin arrived 20 minutes later in a black Uber Lux, still in ski jackets, both pale and quiet. Cooper pressed himself against Claire's legs. She hugged him and looked at me over his back. "Tell us," she said. I looked at the cameras on the gate. He was anxious. The neighbor was in your driveway. Check your house before you sleep there. Martin asked, "Did Graham threaten you?" I said, "No." Technically true. They wanted details. I handed Claire the key fob and feeding sheet, like a normal job had ended. Then I left. No questions, no hero moment. Cooper barked once as I pulled away. I drove to a Walgreens on Ventura Boulevard and bought a prepaid Alcatel flip phone, gum I did not want, and a bottle of Dasani because my hands needed normal things to hold. At home, I wrote the tip in notes, then retyped it into the phone. I gave the address, Graham's name, the hidden vent, the chlorine smell, the bloodied pieces of duct tape stuck to the bars, and the fact that he had entered the Wells house while they were gone. I included 10:14 a.m. because Rover logged it even though my walk was fake. For 2 days, nothing happened. Monday, Claire canceled the remaining bookings and wrote only, "Thank you for getting Cooper out. Please don't come back to the house." Tuesday evening, Miguel called. "You didn't hear from me," he said. "They're searching number 20. He said there were 6 sheriff's vehicles, 2 unmarked cars, and a county van at Graham's. They had cut the side gate lock. Graham was not there. Deputies were carrying lights and plastic cases through the garage. I asked, "The Wells?" "Hotel." "Cooper?" "With them." That was enough. I never found out how the vent connected. I still have the 3 photos on an old hard drive in a folder named tax_2019. I think about deleting them. I don't. What I remember most is not the tape. It is Cooper refusing to leave the leaf pile, using his whole body to say something was wrong, while I stood there pricing my silence at a day rate. I remember Graham asking if Rover tracked me. I remember the Ring camera staring at empty lounge chairs. I remember warm air breathing out of the ground, smelling like chlorine, under wet leaves in a yard where every blade of grass looked harmless. LurmoStories shuts down for tonight. You'll go to bed, you'll think about something else. Around 3 a.m., one detail will surface. That's your one. We're collecting them in the comments. Tell us yours when it comes back. They tend to come back.